what a broad range of things we've discussed, and I've got the unenviable task of picking out some key points that, well, the things that have stood out for me this morning. I think I'm impressed by the range of people that are on this call today. I think bringing together researchers, practitioners, and policymakers is so important, and I think it shows an appreciation amongst all of us in that we can learn from each other when we're looking to how we understand loneliness and what it means and what we can do about it, because loneliness isn't new. It certainly existed before the pandemic, and it will continue to do so after the pandemic, but we must continue to build on what we know. We are not starting from scratch in any of this. There's an awful lot of evidence that we can draw on as we go forwards. But there's so much to learn from the innovation that has gone on in these last few months and recent times. COVID has accelerated the experience of loneliness, but accelerated how people have responded. And we've heard so much this morning about the importance of collaboration, flexibility, and trust in how we move forwards. I think other things that stand out for me are, we know a lot about people who are at risk, but how COVID has really intensified situations, that multiplier effect of people being in a mixture of different at-risk groups, and what that means and where we target our efforts given the resource constraints and the economic situation that we all face, and how very important that is. We heard a lot about co-production this morning as well, how Naomi talked about the importance of understanding what this sort of new-ish spotlight on younger people's experience of loneliness during the pandemic. Understanding the stories behind the statistics is so important to help understand how people feel disconnected. And also co-production in terms of assets-based development that Jamie described, and how you adapt to existing services. It's about new and how we adapt to existing services. So co-production and just that understanding that the solutions lie within people and communities, that was said by somebody earlier this morning. The importance of building on what we know, what Alison said already, what we know about the vulnerable groups that are well known in communities and well known to services, and how we harness that existing knowledge to sort of target our efforts is so important. So that brings in, again, the issue of collaboration, and events like this being so important in that. And then Olivia's really important point about this ecosystem in which we work to support connection being so fundamental. And while we know quite a lot about what we can do around individuals and communities, for me, I think there are a lot of gaps still around how we respond societally to those bigger issues around stigma, discrimination, and exclusion that leave people with a different sense of belonging and a lack of belonging that really, really we need to work towards. So I think it's been a lot about sharing across sectors. That's been such a brilliant part of this morning, and I think the event sort of met its aims in really showcasing some brilliant work going on in Wales, what we can learn from Wales, and how that builds on what we can learn across the 4 nations really in tackling loneliness.